Hello, everyone. My name is Eric K. Thomas, editor-in-chief of the Quintessential Gentleman, and today we are talking to Mark Bradley, the founder of Fight for Life Foundation. What's going on, my brother? How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well, brother Eric. Thanks for having me on today.
Awesome, awesome. So, Mr. Bradley and I got some years behind. We went to high school together. So I
hmm
saw that he had. We always stayed in touch via social media, and I
hmm
saw that he had this foundation. He's always been into fitness, but I saw he had this foundation, and I had to know more about it. So before we get to what the foundation is, tell us a little bit of background, what you've been working on, and kind of how you got to where you are now.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've always been a fitness coach, right? Always been helping people with their diets, getting in shape. Did programs for kids with disabilities, and they had programs all across Southern New Jersey, paired with a lot of different behavioral health organizations. So that was always been just a niche of mine. I always use fitness as a tool to give back and to kind of do my part for the community and humanity as a whole. Yep. So uh, being in that space, and then what took me from there to founding the Fight for Life Foundation. I personally, we had some personal experiences within our home that where we was dealing with suicidal thoughts and attempts to suicide and things like that. And it just kind of brought that hit me in a different perspective when it's inside of your house, right? And through those tough moments, I start seeing that it's been a major issue with a lot of families. And I said, okay, how can we take what I naturally like to do, which is helping people um, be the best version of themselves, and then pair that with uh, the alarming rise of teen suicide within our communities, and how can we kind of bridge those gaps and kind of give back at the same time. So that kind of brought me uh, to founding the Fight for Life Foundation and some of the initiatives that we're looking to do going forward.
So when you say that you dealt with it in a household, was it you experienced it from a child perspective, like dealing with your children who had these type of scenarios? You have two kids?
Yeah, so I'm married. I have three children.
Okay.
Yep, and my oldest, has some struggles. I think once the pandemic hit and different things like that, there's just been an alarming rate of just mental struggles that the youth has been dealing with. And by working with him and getting him back involved in the community, involved in the sports, and getting the support that he needs, it's been night and day. Uh, I'm completely proud of the progress that's been being made, and we just want to take that pain, right, and then turn that strength and then use it for a force for good. And then how can we uh, continue to help our family, but then help other families as well? And that's what the foundation was formed around, right? So our family came together and we built this, and to see how we can kind of keep moving forward and hopefully help others along the way.
So what is Fight for Life Foundation?
Yeah. So the Fight for Life Foundation is a foundation that um, uses health and fitness as a tool to bring awareness to the rise of suicide, and also to provide resources for those who need those supports.
So when you, well, I'll ask this question from a parent perspective. Are there any kind of signs or advice you give to people to pay more attention to the challenges that their children may be going through from a mental health perspective?
Yeah, I think it's important to, one, always talk with your children, communicate with them, spend time with them. If you notice that they're up in the room, they're up on the games, and they're kind of isolated, go in there, talk to them, ask them questions, ask about their day, and don't take those moments for granted, because you could be surprised things can come under the radar, and then next thing you know, something can happen, and you're like, wow, well, where does it even come from? So I think just knowing that a lot of children are in this position of where they're could be suffering in silence. I think as parents, we need to take a be proactive and just kind of communicate with our children, and then just be more interactive with them, and kind of get a good feel of where their mental headspace is at.
Yeah. So you didn't have Fight for Life Foundation during this time with your child where they were going through their struggles. What type of outlets did you use at that time to kind of, that this situation happened, you were aware of it at the time, and now you're like, what to do? What kind of training or what type of
Mm.
research did you do on your own during that time?
Yeah. So when we were going through this here at the house, one of the things that as a fitness coach, I said, all right, well, when you start to care about your body, right, you start to work out, you start to eat better. It's this different level of self-love that you start to develop along that process. You're setting goals, right? You're looking forward to doing something. So we would kind of just go out on walks and talk, right? And then next thing you know, we wanted to get him involved in the community. So we signed up for flag football. He got involved in the wrestling team, and that started to get him from out of the house and making friends and getting involved in the community and having a sense of brotherhood from just a network of peers that he was able to work with. And then us together as father and son going to the gym, exercising together, training, and working on those diet plans. I just start to see this change in him. And then also with professional support as well, right? I think that also has to be paired with therapy. And I think even in the Black community as a whole, I think a lot of times we don't really look at therapy as something that we should do. And I think also as my years as a therapist, because I also worked in the mental health space for about 5 years as well, I took that combination of being a coach and a therapist and said, listen, we need to combine these two together here in the house. And it's been a tremendous benefit for him having therapy and exercising combined together, just as a whole.
So what are the objectives of your foundation?
So the goal with the foundation right now is there's a lot of things that we're looking to do, but I think one of the main things that we're looking to do right now in our beginning phases is we're partnering with the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. There is something called Project 2025, and that's just to reduce the national suicide rate as a whole. And our foundation is going to focus more on the healthcare sector, right? So Project 2025 focused on three different sectors: emergencies, firearms, corrections, and healthcare, right? Those four domains. Being that we have personal experience in the healthcare space, we want to be able to fundraise through fitness and wellness initiatives. This way people are, focusing their mind, focusing their habits, and getting those benefits from the health and wellness side of things. But then we want to use those funds that's raised to support the bigger mission as a whole, right? So we just kind of want to combine them together.
Awesome, awesome. So, and then in terms of the future plans, ultimately a goal, what would be one of the biggest goals you have for the foundation?
Well, one of the things I think is important is helping people in the community on an individual basis, right? So I think there's parents who may can't afford for their child to go to that karate studio, right? Or to get involved in this uh, um, uh, community sports program because maybe they don't have the resources. So what I would like to see the foundation do in the future is to be able to help those families individually, to where there's somewhere that kind of bridge that gap that they can come to get the support they need. This way their child can participate in things in the community, get out of the house and get involved. And there's not a barrier that's stopping families who need those services from doing it because they don't have the resources.
So right now, for the people who are a part of the foundation or come check it out, do you see, is it like family based or is it more of for instance, like they drop off their child and they like go through these exercises or have or spend that time at the foundation, or do you see it kind of paired, like how you and your son, kind of started working out together and doing things together? How do you see that dynamic?
Yeah, so right now, one of the things that the foundation is looking to do, we're running wellness and fitness challenges, right? So this is an online fitness challenge that you can become a part of, and we're going to run these for 30 days. It's something that we're going to do every single month. And we decided to go online initially because we can just reach a broader audience, because we do have families and connections all over, and we wanted to make sure it was accessible to as many people as possible. And through the challenge, there's daily tasks, right, to help you focus on your mental health and your physical health, and just activities that allow families to do and bond together, right? So by them becoming a part of the challenge, it's making sure that these critical things don't become overlooked. Because I know as a parent, right, you're working, you're taking care of your children, and a lot of times you don't take care of yourself first, right? Or maybe you don't focus on things that can help um, uh, focus on mental or physical health with you and the family as a whole. So we just want to bring that conversation into the household and to make sure that it is a topic that families are focusing on, and that there's an action in place that they can do to make sure that those things aren't being neglected inside of the house.
Right. How do you and then other parents, I would say, what's the best way to kind of prioritize mental health, right? So I think that, it's interesting. We have, I go to the gym as well. Um, Nowhere on your level, but I
Hey,
say
hey,
I try
hey,
to stay fit as
I saw
possible.
you flex a few times, man. You're looking pretty jacked.
Thank you. Um, but I think that there's we don't talk enough about the connection between mental health and physical health, right? Because when I'm mentally not in a space
Mm.
to go to the gym, it's challenging. It's challenging to get there. But then the part is, say, a lot of people say, once you get to the gym, you feel so much better from a mental perspective. But if I can't get to the gym, there's an issue. And I always wonder how you are able to kind of fit that in. I'm starting to have a lot more conversations with parents now. Seeing I'm not a parent, and I'm like, how do you guys do this? All just one kid, and if you have multiple kids, and I'm really asking that question because I'm trying to understand how do you kind of think about your day as it pertains to you having a job, having not even just a job, a business of your own, entrepreneurs specifically, and then having to take care of a family, and then also to not only take care of a family, you now need to prioritize your mental health, your spouse's mental health, but then also your children's mental health as well. Because again, like you said, in the Black community, no, you ain't depressed, you don't even use those type of words, and now we're getting better, but now it seems like it's so much more work to kind of manage everything and try to be these good people. But I would love to get your thoughts on it.
Yeah. So I work a full-time job outside of the foundation as well, right? So I'm working full-time, building the foundation, married, 3 kids. And so how do we do that, right? How do you prioritize everything? And I think it's really utilizing your schedule, right? I use my calendar and I make sure all my time is going towards something that benefits me, right? So it's work, it's family time, it's personal time, right? And that's my time for the gym, and time with my wife, and then time with my children. So on my calendar, I have times blocked out for all of those things, right? Because those are the things that's most important to me. And I make sure I show up. I don't call out, right? So if I say, hey, 5 to 7 is I'm spending time with my family, right? We're playing family games, we're doing this, we're doing that. I do everything in my power to make sure I show up for 5 to 7 for that particular time, right? When they go to bed at 8:30, because they're a little bit younger, some of them, right? 8:30 to 10:30, right? That's my time. I go to the gym. And I think, are you gonna be tired? Yeah. But you know what my dad told me? Son, get used to doing a lot of things when you're tired. So it's the discipline,
Yeah.
right? Discipline. Unless I'm sick, I'm getting up and I'm going. And I think what happens is you fight through that fatigue of maybe not wanting to go or whatever. But then once you get there, for me, it's so energizing that I didn't succumb to those thoughts.
Right.
I feel good. I take pride in doing it. And that makes me want to do it more, right? And say, hey, I can do this. And you find energy that way, right? So I think when you're excited about what you're doing, you do find the energy, and the energy just kind of just comes. That makes
No, it does. It does. Okay, perfect. So my last question for you is just tell me what we can look forward to from either you or your Fight for Life Foundation.
Yeah, I think over the coming weeks and months, you can see us doing a lot of work with the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, advocating for different policies and just bringing awareness to the rise of suicides and our children and our community and our thoughts, bringing that awareness out there. So you're going to see a lot of stuff being posted related to that. Also, you're going to see things related to our health and fitness challenges that we want to really get families involved in to kind of make sure that those conversations are being had within the families and that the parents can take those leadership roles and make sure that that they're paying attention to those things. Yeah, and then there's other things we got planned, but initially we want to kind of focus on that first, and then just follow the social media pages. I'll be posting and I'll kind of be updating new things that we want to do going forward in the future.
Awesome, awesome. And I lied, I had one more question. You brought something
Yeah.
I want to know. What is, from kind of your research and kind of your conversation and stuff that you've had with the organization you're partnering with, what are they detailing the rise in suicides in the young demographic? What are they attributing that to?
Well, it's coming from a lot of different factors. But I think one of the main things that is causing it in young children is a lot of it stemmed from the pandemic. And I think children and humans, we are very social. We're social creatures. We got to be around each other. We got to be involved in things. And I think getting out of the house, getting involved, getting away from the screens as much as possible, and making sure our children is involved in things is going to be something that's really, really important in combating this. But one of the things that I know Project 2025 wanted to focus on is the healthcare sector, and that's what the Fight for Life is going to kind of help fund. That part of the research is when our children go into these facilities, right? These facilities are working with children in crisis moments, and they need to be as strong as possible to provide the resources that's needed because they're really helping our kids in their most vulnerable times. So Project 2025 said, hey, we got to keep these healthcare systems strong. We got to keep them thriving, and we got to make sure that the resources and the support are at the highest level possible, that when children come into that care, they just get the support they need, and then the families get the support they need as well. So that's where we really want to focus on, to make sure that those systems are strong as possible within our communities.
Perfect, perfect. Well, thank you, Mark, for joining in with me. A phenomenal things that you're doing, that you're working on and looking to do. Really appreciate it. Please let us know anything we can do to further spread the word, get the information out. Just very, very big on specifically the Black and Brown community, definitely helping to, helping our children, helping our, always say, like, letting our boys be boys, letting them be able to learn, be able to grow. We're really, really big on that. So thank you for the work you do, and please let us know anything we can do to help.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. And please, you can always email me at m.bradley@fightforlifefoundation.net if you want to learn more. And again, Eric, thank you for doing what you're doing. As always, appreciative. And yeah, thank you.